welcome to another Checiegirl art chat. So today's topic, I thought I would talk about how to prepare for a craft market. I recently prepared for one myself, and I was pointing out a few things on the vlog, but I thought I would go more in depth on a podcast, just so if you're starting up, you have a little bit of guidance, so you're not completely going into it not knowing what to do. And before I start that, I thought I would just mention my mixed media workshop. It is a beginner-friendly mixed media workshop that I'm doing with Much Ado Events. It's on the 17th of July. All materials will be provided, and all attendees will leave with a kit full of some mixed media tools so they can continue to create at home. It is at Pim's Court Farm, and drinks and lunch are also included in the price. So spaces are quite limited, so if you're interested, please do book tickets as soon as possible. I will have the link down below if you are interested in the description. And so I thought I would just mention that before we get started. So I thought I would kind of have this podcast in a few sections. So I'll start off with things to do or know before even going to the market. So when emailing the organizers or just contacting them, I would recommend emails just because it's easier to keep track on emails than social media messaging. At least for me it is. You want to be professional, start off your email professionally, hello, so-and-so. End it professionally too, regards, all the best. Treat it like it's a job because you want to stand out and be taken seriously by the organizers. They will most likely get many emails, many submission forms if you have to do a form. A lot of the time you do. So yeah, you want to stand out, be polite. And then once you've been accepted. Oh, and another thing, when you're emailing them, all of the time you'll kind of know what they require. So a little bit about you and your business, the products that you'll be providing, and then in the form, again, it'll have a bunch of questions for you to fill in. You'll probably have to send a few photos of your products as well so they can see what you make, and then a link to your website, social media pages, just kind of to cover the bases. So once you've been accepted, if payment and stuff has been accepted and all that, don't be afraid to ask questions. You don't want to go to the market kind of confused and not really knowing what to do, what the setup is. Ask if you have a table, especially if it's an outside market, will gazebos be provided by them, will tables be provided by them, especially if that isn't already there in the information when you're first reading up about the market. If there'll be electrical outlets, depending on what you need for your stall, ask questions about that. If there'll be internet, Wi-Fi, don't be afraid to ask questions, and of course be professional and polite about it because you want to form a good relationship with the organizers. Another thing that you'll need is public liability insurance. Most markets require it, and it is just helpful to have it. Nothing has ever happened with my stalls for me to use it, but it's useful to know that you're covered just in case something does happen, and a lot of the time it is required. The only time I haven't had to have public liability insurance is when I went to markets that was for young people, and their insurance covered us, but the majority of the time you need to have insurance. I'll put the link down to the place I get my insurance from. It's around 30 something pounds because it's an individual artist insurance, but of course you can do your research, see which one will best suit you, and then when you have it, you will most likely again have to send it to the organizers to prove that you do have public liability insurance. And I would recommend printing it and always having it on your person when you go to markets, just in case the organizer asks to see proof again. They may not, but it helps. And again, just so that you have it on. So I have a folder with important stuff for the market that's always pre-packed, and in that I always have my public liability insurance. So that's just kind of stuff to make sure you get a space in the market. And then once you know you're in the market, it's time to get ready. And one thing you've got to do, or at least you don't have to, but it's really useful, is keep track with lists. Write down what products you'll be packing, maybe what products you need to make, what you have to do to prepare for it, what you need to buy. Just, have the list there so you can keep track of things, tick, and your head doesn't have to be filled with all the stuff you need to do, because having your head filled with all that can be a little bit overwhelming. And it's also nice to see the ticks, because then at least you see that you're moving forward, even if you might not feel that you are. And then budget. Like, if you are starting off, you're not even sure if you'll stick to the to doing markets, like you're just trying out a few, try to budget like on what you can, like so yes, okay, you'll have to spend money on like public liability insurance, but if you've got a table at home and you need to take a table, like they don't provide it, and you can use that table from home, use that. Try to use what you have. Some of the things like you might use like a tablecloth or something. Like, don't spend and like buy stuff when you don't need brand spanking new things. So like one of the things I would recommend is having like business cards to give to people, like whether they buy or not, because some people may not be able to buy now, but they might want to buy later. So give them a business card so they can find you. On your business card, it's good to have like the title of your business, maybe what your business is about. So I have Nathifa Simon of Checiegirl Creations on there, like as the title. Then I have mixed media, art and illustrations, and then I have my link, which is to my online business card, because I have quite a few like different avenues. I have YouTube, Patreon, website, social, so I have all that on my online business card, which is just useful actually, especially if you have an Instagram, because you can only have one link. Online business card is really useful. I'll try to remember to link that website I use. So I have that on the business card. Then I have like follow me, and I have the social media icons that like I have accounts on there as well. And then I have a QR code for them to scan. So they can scan the QR code and that takes them to the online business card, or they can follow the link. They can type out the link. So yeah, that's what I think is best to have on the business cards. And then you can have leaflets as like an add-on. I have a leaflet like that's like about me, that people can read up. And then like if I say I'm having a workshop coming up, or like a new product that you have to like pre-order, I'll have leaflets about that too. And what I tend to do is when someone orders something, I'll just put that leaflet in their bag, so like when they get home they can look through it if they want to pass it on to someone who might be interested. And to save money, what you could do is print those things out yourself, design those things yourself. I design my business cards, my leaflets. I print them out myself. I print my business cards on cardstock and my leaflets just on regular paper. Because it's just a little bit cheaper than outsourcing it. And even if you don't have a printer, you can always go and print things like somewhere else. I printed mine at the post office, like when my printer wasn't working. And yeah, and you can design your own business cards. I use before I used to use Publisher. Now I use Clip Studio Paint, just because that's what I have. But like, you could use Publisher. I've done my leaflets on like Google Slides. Like, you just kind of use what you have and what you're used to. And yeah, that's a really good way on saving money. And then another thing like that would be useful to prepare is like a mailing list form and or a commission form. So if you have a mailing list, you can have like a little form just so that people could just put down their email, like their name and their email. And then you can add that to your mailing list when you get home. And then if you take commissions, you can have some commission forms. I have some commission forms, and on the commission form, like if I can remember correctly, I take their name, their email, maybe a number, like maybe a mobile number, I can't remember, but definitely name and email. Then I'll have like maybe what they're like commissioning, and like on there also I have like commission numbers, so I can write down like if it's commission 1, 2, or 3. And yeah, I just have like the information that I'll need for that commission, and then I can split it. So I'll have like the bigger piece, and then they'll have a small like slip to take home, so that they can either contact me, but then I can contact them. And then if like after I've contacted them, once I've gotten home from the market and they reply, then we can start talking about like, deposits and stuff, because they've decided they definitely want to go through with it. So, if those apply to your business, it's good to have them. And I just have it on a little like fake clipboard. It's basically just like a piece of like, really, it's a bit like a cardboard, like chipboard kind of like card that I have the commission form stapled together and then the mailing list stapled together, and I just attach it with like a bull clip to that piece of cardstock. And again, that's just another way to budget it, and I designed those and printed those out myself. So yeah, design and print what you can. Of course, if you feel like you don't want to, or that you don't really have the ability to, you can outsource it. But if you're starting off, it just helps to do that, and then you can outsource stuff later if you are definitely going to keep on doing markets. And you can also see like how I've done some of those things on my most recent vlog. I'll link that in an iCard and in the description, so you can check that out just in case you kind of want to see what I did. And more things to have prepared: have float money. It's really important to have float money so you have change to give to customers. And float money, like, just in case you're not really sure what I'm talking about. So I will have like a bit of float money on me, so that when I've made money, I will remove the float money before I count up what I've made. So I always have that float money set aside. I don't take from it or anything. And I would say, again, it all depends on like what you make, but for me, I would have like around between 30 and 50 pounds, around there. I have some in notes, like I'll have a few like £5 notes, like a £10 note, and then I'll have like coins. Since I've been doing markets for a while, I tend to know like how much of like each kind of money that I need. So it's good to have quite a few fives and like at least 110, because sometimes someone will just give you a 20 for like a £5 item. So it's good to have like change on you. And then because of just the way times are, people are using card more. They don't have cash on as regularly or as much as they used to. It's useful to have a card reader. Now again, if you're just starting off and you're not sure if you want to stick to it, you can just take float money. And if you really are going to get into it, I would recommend a card reader, because not everyone has cash on them, and especially if you're like not close to an ATM, they might just go, well, like, I can't get it now, and then you might lose a sale. So a card reader is really useful. I use SumUp. It works well. I haven't used more than one, so I can't really recommend what's best. Again, you can do the research and pick which you would prefer. I just got SumUp at the time because I think it was on sale, so I just got it. It was a good deal, and it works well. There's an app and everything. You can put your you put your products like within the app, put prices on them, and then the checkout is really quick, because then you say, okay, if you're selling bracelets, notebooks, and pencils, and the person gets like 2 pencils and a bracelet, you just click pencil, you put how much quantity, then you click bracelet, and then it's a really quick checkout instead of having to like type the numbers in yourself. And that also means you don't have to do too much mental arithmetic, which is always great. You don't have to pull out a calculator or anything. So yeah, I would recommend a card reader if you're going to go into this like seriously. And then those things tend to need Wi-Fi, so a hotspot is really useful, especially if you don't know what the internet is going to be like. I think the majority of the markets I've been to, the Wi-Fi has been really dodgy, and it's a bit embarrassing to have and kind of holding the card reader in your phone, like, above your head, hoping to catch some Wi-Fi. So a hotspot just kind of takes away that worry. And the hotspot I'm using is like a Huawei thing. You just buy some data to add on to it. It's really easy. And And yeah, and again, do your own research. My mom just had that, so I'm using that. Oh, and another thing I wanted to mention, that if you pick a sum up, I do have a link where if you follow that link, you'll get a bit of a discount on your sum up card reader. I do get like a little bit of money myself, but I'm not affiliated. It's just like one of those kind of links. So I'll put that link down below if you're interested in a sum up. But again, do your research and pick what's best for you. And then next, have your packaging ready. Again, it all depends on the products. I have a wide range, so I have large paper bags, slightly smaller paper bags. I've made my own paper bags as well. You don't have to like buy paper bags. I made some smaller ones out of A4 paper. Again, that's on my vlog. And then like have tape, whether like some sellotape, maybe some washi tape if you want it to look prettier. Like wrapping paper, like brown wrapping paper. That's always a nice look. At least for me, I kind of like that look. Twine. Stickers maybe, like if you want to stick, once you've kind of wrapped, if you want to put a sticker on instead of using tape. Again, it all depends on what you're selling. I mean, if yours is just literally boxes and you just have to order some boxes and they're flat and you just kind of fold them up, put some tissue paper in and pop your product in there. It all depends on what you're selling. And then, I'm not really going to give too much like advice on products, but one thing I would say is useful is to have a price range. So like low, medium, high. So you can have smaller products, medium-sized products, and then larger products. So then, instead of just having one price, it's just a little bit more useful to kind of catch people's eyes. And make price tags so that you can price your items on the table. And then it's useful to have an inventory logbook and a commission book if you take commissions. So inventory book, just have your products in there so you can tick off. So you can always go back to refer to it. And then if you take commissions, you can either have a section at the back of your inventory log to write down if people are interested, or you can have a commission book separate. All depends on what you prefer. And then this isn't really something you need to have. It all depends. But if you are going to do like outdoor markets, or sometimes even indoor markets can be kind of cold in the winter, it's useful to have like hand warmers, a thermos of tea. I even have a mat that I can stand on, like if I'm outside, because just standing on the cold for a long period of time, because you have to stand a lot at markets. You can take a chair, but if it's busy, you're going to have to stand, just to kind of keep my feet off of the cold ground. But that's just something like, especially if the cold does affect you a lot, which it does for me. Oh, and another thing I forgot to mention is that when, say, you're printing your business cards, making up your products, just preparing stuff, use the conveyor belt method. This is a great way to save time. I know it'll feel kind of boring while you're like kind of going through it, but like do one step all at the same time. So say if you're printing business cards, print all of them out and then cut them out, and then say put them in the box. If you're making paper bags, like do all the same kind of folding at the same time, then do all the sticking at the same time, then stick on the handles at the same time. Conveyor belt method, it'll feel monotonous, it'll get a little bit boring, but I promise you it'll save so much more time than say doing making a paper bag from start to finish and then making a paper bag from start to finish over and over again. It'll take so much longer, and especially if you don't have long to prepare for a market and you have quite a bit of stuff to get ready, the conveyor belt method is a serious time saver. So I just wanted to mention that before we go on to stall setup. So I know I already mentioned this, but again, budget what you can. So depending on what you need to do your stall setup, like say a tablecloth, maybe some boxes to create height or something, see what you can find like around your home, especially if you're starting up around your home. Like I've used like drawers and all sorts of stuff. If it goes with like the look you're going for, use it. Charity shops are great as well, especially if you say you don't want to have to dismantle something at your home. Every time you go to a market, check out the charity shops. I've gotten like quite a few good stuff, good quality items as well from the charity shops. That's only cost like a couple pounds. So yeah, hit the charity shops, see what you have at home, and if you can't find what you need from those two places, then you can like go to shops and like online. I only have a few things that I bought from like shops or like online, and the only reason I had two is because I needed some boxes to create height, but I couldn't find any that like would fold down, or like, because I all the time when I did markets, I was traveling on like public transport, so I needed to fit everything into a suitcase, so I needed stuff to fold down and like collapse. So I just bought a few collapsible boxes. I used the boxes to create height and stuff, or as like kind of makeshift easels, and then I used the lids to kind of display things like flat on the table. So yeah, see what you have. And then for setup, a tablecloth gives a really nice clean look. It looks professional instead of just kind of chucking stuff on a table. Again, you want to be able to stand out, and if you have a tablecloth, like my stuff is extremely colorful, so I just go with white. Everything is either white. There's a couple black things, but most things are white, so that my colorful creations all stand out, and then it just makes things look professional. Some markets do require that you bring a tablecloth, but it also helps to like cover what's underneath your table, because like my suitcase that holds everything will be under the table, because like under the table tends to not look very nice. So if you cover that up, again, it'll just look a little bit more professional, because just think of yourself as like a mini shop. And if you went into a shop where there was stuff strewn everywhere and just kind of things chucked to the side, and you wouldn't like it so much. So you want it to look nice and presentable. Again, pick a cohesive like color scheme to make your products pop, or like a specific style. So I've seen some really nice rustic looks, some more like modern looks. Some people have like everything on black. Pick things that will look. So if you're like, say, going for a rustic feel, yes, okay, you might have a white tablecloth, but then you might have a strip of burlap going across the middle. And then like, your boxes or like display items might be like wooden, or again, kind of burlap, cotton-like. So like with me, it's a pretty clean look. I don't want to take away from like my product, so I have a white tablecloth, white boxes. I have a few things that are like either baskets or kind of like wooden trays. And you can DIY quite a bit of stuff too, like a few of the easels or like display things for like necklaces and like just accessories in general are just like cardboard tubes that I've covered in book paper or brown paper. I'll maybe like put up a link or something where you can see like photos of like my market store, because there's a lot of DIY things in there, or just stuff that I've gotten from charity shops. And then another thing you want to do is bring things up to eye level, because if everything's flat on the table, people won't really look at it that much. So you can have some things flat on the table, but create height. So like boxes are really good. Like I'll have like boxes and maybe easels on top of the boxes, so that it brings it up to eye height, and then things kind of just cascade down. So you have some things flat on the table. Sometimes the stuff on the table, I'll have something behind it, so it's propped up slightly, so you don't miss it. And then you want to price your products. You want to have the prices of your products on or near, like next to your products, so that people don't always have to ask you. Because sometimes someone might look at something and they don't see a price on it, and they might just think, oh, it might be too expensive, and then they'll just move on instead of asking. So yeah, it's good to have the prices right on there with the products. Again, on something that'll pop. So my prices are like on black card, and I write it with like a white paint pen on black card, and that stands out really well. And then it's good to have a banner with your name and business name on it, or just business name. Again, you can make that yourself. I just each page had like parts of the title of my business, and it was printed out, taped it together, and What I will do, I want to update it a little bit and just add like a link to my online business card, a QR code, and the social media icons on it so people know where to find me. And then I can cover it in some like clear like plastic so it can still roll up, because laminating it will make it too stiff because it's quite long. And yeah, so you can make that yourself. And again, if you get really into it, you can outsource it. But I've been doing markets for years, and I just continue to do it myself. I don't mind. And I make sure it's packaged, like it's stored safely, so it lasts a really long time. Because I've had that banner pretty much since I started. And I think my first market was when I was like 12, 13 maybe. And so that was like 7, 8 years ago, around there. So yeah, a lot of the stuff I've had for years. And of course, like if you need to wash things, then like, because the tablecloth, especially after outdoor markets, does need a wash because the edges get really gross. So yeah, just look after your stuff so you don't have to keep on buying new things. And then useful things to have at your stall, like the kind of behind the scenes. And this depends on if it's indoor or outdoor. So in general, tape, scissors, pens, pencil. Always make sure to have an extra pen or pencil. You never know if you might lose it, or the pen just could die. The pencil might need sharpening. I prefer pen, but pick whatever. Blue tack is really useful, especially if you need to maybe stick price tags or something. Clips to like keep your tablecloth down, or like maybe pin up the edges so they don't drag. And then weights are so useful, especially if you're in an outdoor market and if you have canvases or cards or basically things that the wind will turn into sails. Having clips and weights to try to keep them safe and like keep them where they are, very useful. I prefer indoor markets just because I can avoid the wind, because the wind literally turns my canvases into sails. But I have had to like be in outdoor markets where I'm literally having to hold my canvases still. It's kind of stressful. So having like weights, I have weights that's like clip-on weight. So there's a clip and then the weight is like attached to the clip, and I'm able to clip that to like a twine that's behind the canvas. That's normally used like if I need to hang it. And that just kind of helps to keep things down. And then you can also use some really nice big, I can't think of the word, not ball clips, but something like really heavy duty like clips to maybe keep down like, clip boxes to the table and stuff so they don't fly over. And again, weights will help with that. So it all depends. After a few markets, you'll be able to tell what you need. But yeah, that helps. And then it's also useful to have signs up, maybe like you can have a sign up saying if you have custom orders, if you have a sale going on at the moment. If you have a mailing list, you can have a sign in there too. And you can laminate those so they don't get damaged. You can keep on reusing them. And again, if you do take card, have a sign up saying that you do take card. Because they'll probably ask, but you can have a sign up just so, people can spot that for themselves. And then a little something to add on top of your stall is like decorations. So, again, you don't have to buy anything. You can make bunting, maybe paper bunting, fabric bunting, any kind, whichever will match your stall best. I have one of my sister's friends gave me these cacti candles, and I thought they were really cute, so I use them sometimes. Like if there's a lot of space for whatever reason, if I have a really large table and I have a bunch of space, I'll just kind of place the candles here and there. It just adds a little something, and a lot of my stuff has nature stuff on it, so it matches quite nicely. It is good to have a little bit of blank space though. I mean, I have a lot of stuff on my table a lot of the time, but it's nice to have a bit of blank space just so people have places for their eyes to rest. So they don't miss things too much. And you can also add fairy lights. I have some lights that I like to use. You don't always see them, but it's just a kind of nice touch, especially if you are outside and if it's maybe a winter market. It just kind of brightens the place up. And it just looks nice. But again, you don't have to go out and buy fairy lights. You can just make your own bunting. So, all depends on what you're going for. So yeah, I would say that's it for stall setup. So now that like you've prepared for your market, you've set up your stall, now like what to do at the market. So first of all, what you want to do, especially like before the market gets busy, is kind of organize your station. So like stuff that's just kind of for storage, like say again, because I have everything in a suitcase, like I just try to like maybe put all of that stuff on one side, and then the other side I'll have like my packaging things, like the bags, wrapping paper, bubble wrap. I forgot to mention that earlier. Like if you have fragile stuff, bubble wrap. The twine and stuff I have like there. And then I have a small table. I forgot to mention that too. Sorry. I have a small table that I use for wrapping my products or just packaging them. And like on there, I tend to keep it clear, but like on like say the bits on my display table, like kind of just behind stuff like where people won't see, I'll have like the twine, scissors, pen, calculator, like float money, just stuff you'll need for packaging. And I do have like this like kind of half like tiny like small apron with like some nice big pockets, so I tend to have like the calculator, scissors and pen in there just so I don't have to walk around to get it. I have the calculator in there too. It just helps to have it on person. Some people will also have like some change in there too, so they don't have to go for that. I tend to like to keep all of my money in my like box. What would be really good is to have one of those boxes that lock. I just kind of made my own box. Like there was this big ice cream tub, and I just made some sections out of cardboard, hot glued it in. What I realized though is that the hot or the coal can make the like hot glue unstick. So then I super glued it in recently so it doesn't move. And then I just have like the sections. I have a note section, and then I have like £2, £1, 50p, etc., sections. So I have it in there, but I might upgrade to like a locking one. Just to like a little bit for security though. I do always make sure to kind of keep it like close to me, like I know where it is. Keep an eye on your float money. It's pretty important. So keep your station organized so that you're not fumbling too much, especially like there have been times when there are people just kind of chucking their money at me, and if my station was unorganized and like a whole bunch of people saying, oh, I want this and I want this, just kind of giving me money like left, right and center, it would have just gotten them really overwhelming, kind of crazy, and it would have been a mess. So it's really good to have everything like set up and ready, not only on your table so it's presentable, but also behind your table so it's organized and you can then run smoothly. And then when speaking to the customers, speak clearly, project, enunciate, be polite, say good morning, afternoon. Like if you're seeing them kind of looking at stuff, you can ask like, are you looking for anything in particular? Can I help you with anything? Because then they might say, oh, well, I'm looking for something for my sister. I'm not too sure what to get her. Then you can say, well, what does she like? And they could be like, well, she likes dogs and daisies. And she does like to read. And you can say, well, I do have some bookmarks and I have some daisy bookmarks. And then I also have like this that would be good for dogs. I mean, it all depends on what products you have. But, yeah, be really nice and friendly. I know when you're first starting, it's super nerve-wracking, right? I mean, it took years before I didn't have butterflies in my tummy to do markets. But, you'll get used to it. So, and people can be quite understanding. I've never really had a bad experience with like really rude people before. Though you do come across people saying, oh, well, that seems a bit pricey and stuff. But if you have priced your product in a way where not only you are covering materials, but you're also getting paid, very important, don't feel bad about that. You can just literally say, well, these things take time. Some people may not understand that, or some people are just really cheap. So yeah, but you'll get there at some point. It'll just take a while, and practice makes perfect. So, but yeah, just be nice and polite, speak clearly, so that they can hear you, and yeah, and just be like willing to help. willing to explain about your product, because sometimes it's like new to them. And like my terrariums, the most recent market I did at Maidstone Market, I'll put a link to that too. I'll be going to the market on the 10th of July if you guys are interested in checking that out, so I'll link that below. I had to pretty much explain about the terrariums to almost every person that stops the stall. I don't even know how many times I did it, and I know it can get like a bit, you start to kind of go insane because you explain the same thing like over and over again, but that's customer service really, and that's the part I really enjoy. So that's where you need to decide whether you're really into it or not, because I really like doing markets. It's really fun to be able to talk to the customers and stuff, and I enjoyed that. So yeah, all depends. So anyways, I feel like I'm digressing. So yeah, and don't panic. Like if you're moving a bit slowly, or if you need to like make sure and check that you're charging them the right amount on the calculator and stuff, don't panic too much. Like just say especially if it's early in the morning, I take a while to wake up. So I could just be like, oh, I'm really sorry, I just need to check this on the calculator. It's like morning, I'm not awake yet or anything. And people are really understanding. They don't mind too much. Sometimes if you're seeing them wrap it, if they're seeing you wrap it, they might be like, oh no, it's fine, I'll just put it in the bag. A lot of the time they don't really seem to, I guess they don't want to make it look like, they're putting too much on you, but you could just be like, no, it's fine, I just want to make sure it's nice and safe in your bag or anything, or you can ask if you want a bag, but yeah, just kind of maybe explain just need to kind of wrap this up, keep it safe kind of thing. So yeah, and then again with the card reader, sometimes it takes a little while for it to kind of connect to your phone, especially if you're turning it on and off between uses. So you can just say if they're paying by card, I'm just getting that set up for you. I'll wrap your product, wrap your purchase while I'm waiting for that to set up, and they'll say okay. So yeah, and I would say that's pretty much it when it comes to customer stuff. What I would say is it's quite nice to maybe chat to your neighbor, the person next to you who's holding a stall, because if you need to go for a toilet break, it's always good if you're getting along with the stall holder next to you, so that they can just kind of watch your stall, and then vice versa. Markets are not only good to be able to meet customers and sell your products, it's also great for networking. So, chat to the person next to you. You never know what might happen. And it's just nice to have someone to talk to, especially when things quiet down. And then talking about networking, thank the organizers. I cannot stress this enough. Just the same way you wanted to start off, on a good footing when you first contacted them, and as you continue to contact them if you have any questions, you want to leave them with a nice feeling. If they ever think of you, it's a nice feeling. So you thank them, thank you for the opportunity. It was a lovely market, especially if it went really well. Tell them how much you enjoyed it. And because you need to build a healthy relationship with them, because especially if they're organizing something else, they might think of you and contact you. So it's good to leave someone with it's good to build these relationships, because networking really helps. As a business, you don't really want to have to stand alone. So yeah, networking, very important. And again, say if it's a newer market, because I've been to some where we were put in a quite dark room and people couldn't really see us. So you can be thank you, it was a great opportunity, but I did notice that, we might need some more lighting. I would love to come back next time, but we might need a little bit more lighting, because people were kind of missing us when they were walking past this room. And yeah, just be polite about it. And yeah, and then the last thing, which is a serious pet peeve of mine, because it is really rude and unprofessional, and a lot of people do it. Unless the organizers say to pack up early, do not pack up early. A lot of people do that, especially when it gets quiet, because there is just a point where the market is going to get quiet, especially closer to the end of the market, and people just start to pack up. And if you pack up early, you could end up missing a sale, because it's saying your store is closing at 5 and then you haven't seen anyone for a while and it's 4:30, so you just say to pack up, and then someone goes at like, I don't know, 10 to 5 to go and buy something from your store and it's closed and you've lost a sale. And it's also really unprofessional because you've said it closes at 5 and you're not there at 5. So do not pack up. I know it'll be tempting when you see others pack up, but don't pack up, because there's been times when I've been seeing other people pack up. It confuses the customers because they thought the market was like closing at 4 or something. And there's been times when I've literally made a sale minutes before the market is closed. And it also upsets the organizers. So like, don't do it. So many people do it. It's really rude and it's highly unprofessional. So yeah, unless the organizers say to, do not. Especially if they say don't pack up early in the email. So yeah, don't do it, please. It really annoys me when other people do it. One thing you might just want to do though is like, once things quiet up, you can like start to organize yourself like behind the scenes. I tend to like start to just organize stuff so that when the market is closed, I can start packing, and like, especially if my suitcase wasn't as well organized as I wanted it to be at the start of the market, because some markets start off like hot and sweaty, then I kind of have stuff ready for when it's time to pack up. So yeah. And another thing, when you're at the market, especially when a few customers go through, especially if they've like to touch stuff, go through and like, maybe tidy up the business cards and leaflets that you left on the table, straighten things out a little bit, just kind of keep it looking fresh. But yeah, so that's it. I think I've covered everything. If you have any questions at all, feel free to comment below. I don't mind. If you have any tips and tricks that you might want to share from doing markets that you think I've missed, feel free to share that too. Yeah, I just wanted to do this podcast because I know when I started to do markets, I had my mum to help me because she used to do markets, and that was really helpful. And I know like people have a lot of questions when it comes to stall setup and all that. So yeah, it's just I just wanted to share so you guys would have a little bit of help. So when it comes to you doing markets, you like know what to do. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did and you're on YouTube, listening on YouTube, please do give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. I have a podcast at the beginning of every month. And click that notification bell so you don't miss any of my other videos. I do studio vlogs at the end of the month. The last studio vlog was all about market preparation as well. So if you want to like watch me prepare for a market, you can check that out. Again, I'll have that linked down below in the description and in an iCard if you're on YouTube. And yeah, so thanks again for watching. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to comment below. I will just quickly remind you again, I have a workshop on the 17th of July. Tickets are available via the link down below. And if you're interested in the market that I'll be doing on the 10th of July at Maidstone Market, please do check out the link down below for that too. So thanks again for watching, or listening, should I say. Bye!